Welcome to Hypothetically Sound presents Nerd Shit. On today's episode, guys, we are talking video games. I mean, what got us into it, and in a special question towards the end. But before we get into it, we have a special guest. And Xavier, I need you to introduce our guest. Now, this is the first guest on Nerd Shit. So, however we had other guests on
we had Xavier's brother.
Yeah, and our dads. But this is the first guest on Nerd Shit specifically, and however you introduce him is going to set up the tone for how we introduce other guests. So if you do it lackluster, that's how we had to do it for the rest of the time. So no pressure, but you are dictating the future of this podcast with introductions right now. True. So good luck, Xavier.
Yeah, it's my friend Jacob, and he's
right
a nerd.
On. Right on. Exactly what we love to hear. Jacob, you gonna say hi?
I could. I often think of Xavier as a good friend or a friend acquaintance.
What the fuck does that mean, Jacob?
Literally 2 minutes into the podcast, Alek. 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was really fast.
It's not my fault. He said something really weird.
But thank you guys for, acquaintances. I mean, you probably don't. You just have like 3 best friends and that's it in your life. But, guys, okay. So we talked about anime last time. So this time, video games, intro to video games. What got you into video games? And so, Jacob, since you're new, you're our guest, you get to lead us off. What got you into video games to start, like, your life? What was the first video game you remember playing or that had such an impact on you that you wanted to continue to play video games?
Honestly, I think when I was like 6 or so, my godparents were like, "Hey, here's the Game Boy Color," and I had a Men in Black video game, which was not the greatest, wasn't terrible, and a few other middling video games.
Mm-hmm.
And I won $50 of the races, got the Legends of Zelda, Oracle of Time, Oracle of Ages duo set, and kind of just like set me off on that.
No, that's fair enough. Funny story about Legend of Zelda. My father and his brother decided that instead of coming to see me be born, they were going to beat Legend of Zelda again. So not for the first time, but again. So instead of coming to see me be born, my dad was like, "I'm going to beat Legend of Zelda again."
Randy, what's your name again, by the way?
Oh, Randy Stringer Jr.
Oh, Junior.
Yeah, right?
Weird.
Yeah, funny story about that. Fuck Legend of Zelda. God, I had to cut that out.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just did it too.
Wow.
Yeah, I suck at this.
Funny story, I've never played Zelda. Not a single one. Because of that, I refuse to play Zelda because of that.
It's actually true. I had Wind Waker, had Twilight Princess.
That's fair.
Like, I think maybe like I've like hopped on like a trials like at Walmart or something when the new ones came out on like the Switch and stuff. But like I've never been one. I've never played more than like an hour in any Zelda. I refuse it. And I'm missing out. Like a whole franchise is ruined for me. Like a great franchise is ruined for me because of the actions of a father.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. So Ren, then what game did you start with? Zelda was off the limit. What franchise?
Yeah, so growing up, all my video games were kind of like secondhand. Like I didn't own my own console until like 13. But our grandma and a cousin, Xavier's brother, and our other cousin, they had all the systems. And the main system we played was Super Nintendo. And the first game that we played a lot of that got me into video games, that made me love video games, is Tecmo Super Bowl. We would do seasons and we would literally, because only one could play unless you were playing each other. We would play full seasons out. So one person would play their solo game while the other two went and did whatever they had to do. We would play through the nights, until someone like fell asleep and couldn't play anymore. That got me into video games because it was such a cool thing to do with them. Like, and then especially when you played each other, it was even better. And I loved football, and we would in Tecmo Super on Super Nintendo, Deion Sanders was a free agent, so we would battle and flip coins and rock paper scissors and do other activities to like see who would be able to sign Deion Sanders because he was the best player in the game. It was fun. It was a great game. Obviously, other Nintendo games like Battletoad versus Double Dragon it's probably one of my all-time favorite games. But any game really, when I was younger, required we were playing as a group, and so getting to do that shaped how I play video games now. I don't play a lot of solo games because of that. Like my enjoyment from video games is doing it with other people.
All about that social aspect.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. It's
True.
Something that you can come together on. You can, find like interests or like angles or ideas, concepts.
Kind of funny to me. I remember in elementary school, I was like, no one likes video games. Video games? That is not cool. You can't say you play video games. And then obviously it's like, I got a bit older. Tiny bit. I was like, oh, maybe everybody plays video games.
But no, it was the same in the 90s when I was growing up. Like, video games weren't overly popular. So yeah, like people, I don't think I talked about video games with friends. Like, video games are popular, but like in Minneapolis and it being an expensive hobby, it wasn't something readily available to a lot of my friends. So I didn't talk about video games with them. Like, we talked Pokemon cards and like things that were more affordable and doing. Plus, in the 90s, it was all about going outside and doing things. Like, we would get kicked out of the house and had to be back by the time the lights came down type thing. And so like all of our video game playing came at night before online was out and things like that. So I understand that aspect of like not thinking video games were a cool thing to talk about. Like, I don't think I talked video games until high school when I played Halo with friends in LAN parties and stuff.
Honestly, yeah, I don't think I started talking really much about video games until the start of high school and end of middle school.
It was the end of middle school.
Even though I played them a lot, a shit ton, crap ton, lag. But yeah, it's funny you say that though. My first games that I can remember playing were Shenmue on Dreamcast and then Sonic Adventure. Both of them. Shenmue because of like the crazy button combinations that you had to do for the cool ass cutscenes that they would show. And as like a young kid, I was like, "Oh man, that's crazy!" And then the Sonic Adventures was great because of the whole like memory card thing that you could like hatch the little eggs, and I can't remember exactly what was done with them, but it was a lot of fun.
I'm ashamed they didn't take that like aspect of the Dreamcast and bring it to some other consoles.
Oh my god, the Dreamcast is
that's a whole different topic.
Yeah, the Dreamcast is a whole podcast on its own, dude. It's so good.
Yeah. Love the Dreamcast. As Rand said, we didn't have consoles like for a long time. Our first ones and stuff, so we had grandmas and like Xavier's brother and stuff like that. However, I'm gonna contribute to like Nintendo to like my whole getting into video games, because when we finally did get an N64, Mario 64, Smash Bros, Mario Kart 100%. Was all I played. Otherwise, I had to watch these guys play games on like the PlayStation and whatnot. Eventually, I got my own Game Boy Advance, and I got like Pokemon and stuff. And so, yeah, that really skyrocketed. And since then, I've always gotten a Nintendo console and spent way too much time on it when I first get it. And it sits down for a little bit, and then I get back to it. It's just an endless cycle.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just kind of lucky when I was born too. I guess or we were, because like it was definitely like GameCube was like an Xbox and PlayStation were like the main things that we were exposed to,
and honestly inexpensive.
Have like the super old consoles like the NES and stuff like that.
As much as I love the NES, Super Nintendo, N64, and Dreamcast, and even Sega Saturn, like
GameCube,
I think the Dreamcast is the last one I'll put in a different era.
Okay, so
you guys were born into the prime era of consoles. like the consoles had reached a point of advancement where you still get the nostalgia of the old consoles, but none of the headaches of having to blow into your thing to get it work or everything being wiped away because you have memory cards that
I
like
think we were in
were
the middle.
dependent.
Dude, the GameCube's probably one of my favorite consoles. I'm real happy that I was alive during when that first came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Oh,
able
yeah.
to snake one. That shit was nice.
My favorite part of growing up, something that I don't know if people still do it today because kids are a lot smarter and there's wireless controllers and whatnot. But you know, being that older sibling and your younger 3-4 year old brother wants to play video games, you're like, sure, and you just hand them an unplugged controller, and they got the same enjoyment out of the video games as if he was playing. I don't know how much Alec remembers it, but like that was a
Happened
favorite
to us all
part
the
of my
time.
time was I would let him just sit there and he would think he was playing, and then as an older brother, you're like, yeah, and you're cheering him on, you're playing with him. He doesn't know that he's not playing defense or offense. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I don't recall throwing it deep. No, you definitely did. You hit the wrong button, but you scored a touchdown anyways, and you like cheer and scream. Like, it was great. Like
Yeah. And then, like, when you get a little bit older, like 6, 7, and he feels bad because the computer beat his ass, he gives you a real controller, and you realize super quick that you've never played the game before. And he thinks it's funny. It's ADO.
Hey, at least you're one a grown adult getting 120 points scored on you in NBA 2K with a single player. Before we move on to our, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think another thing that got me into gaming too was that
Animated titties.
100%. I was also lucky too to be at the peak of wanting to explore and learn things at the end of dial-up,
Mm-hmm.
which led to desktop PCs, which led to the internet, which led to me exploding my brain because there was so many things that you could find everywhere in terms of information.
Which is funny enough because I was leading to a question I was going to pose before we get to our main question of the podcast. What got you into PC gaming?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a totally different beast than console gaming. 100% totally different
Yeah.
beast. So what got you into PC gaming?
I kind of already explained mine right there.
Yeah.
Kind of at the end of dial-up. We had a computer, but because of how dial-up worked, my mom would never let me use it. So as dial-up was like starting to phase out, she would let me use it more often.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. And then suddenly we had, you know, satellite,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was just crazy from there. It was exploration. Pretty much gave me the computer, and then it was my machine to play with. So as long as I kept it working, I could do whatever I wanted. And then
No LiveWire siblings to
no, not really actually. My brother he didn't really push me in any which direction on computers. And I think that I played a really big role in getting him a lot more addicted to video games.
Yeah, because at a certain point, Kevin stopped playing video games. Like, and I don't blame him. A lot of things happened around when he was like 16 to 18
Mhm.
that he just stopped playing it due to money, due to whatever. So, like, understandable. Like, it's good that you brought him back into something that we enjoyed growing up, at least.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It
Jacob,
was great.
what got
Wow.
you into PC gaming? Oh, sorry. I keep cutting you off.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say World of Warcraft, one hell of a drug.
True.
Hmm.
Jacob, what got you into PC gaming?
honestly, or like in we had a computer. Obviously, people playing like RuneScape at school. That's a huge
Mm.
social aspect. I never had like membership ever, so it was all like free to play. But just like hanging out with people, maybe doing a bit of scamming, as you know, kids always tried to do.
Oh
That
yeah.
kind of stuff. And then there's so much of that. And then eventually like other MMOs like Tibia. A guy at my school was like, "Oh, you got to try this other MMO." And some German MMO made by some college students. Obviously English and an A service, but that kind of stuff. Never could afford a WoW subscription. My parents are never going to pay for it. Generally, they still didn't even really like video games. Always a point of contention.
Mm.
But yeah. But no, definitely that exploration aspect of the internet, just like going on random sites, finding like RPG Maker links. You could like try
Yep.
to make your own game and just spending like a whole weekend just trying to do that. And nothing ever came of it, unfortunately. But that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Alec?
Yeah, it's
Shit. To be honest, I would spend weekends at grandma's occasionally, and she's the only person I knew with a computer I could play games on and stay up super late playing games because they old and went to bed at like 7, so the computer was free.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy to find free games on computer, man. Like, so easy. And that was in like early high school, and I always wanted a computer for that reason. But then like all my friends kind of were like PlayStation at the time, and then I switched to Xbox. And then the people that I started playing games mostly with were on PC, so I just kind of migrated with who I played with the most.
Oh,
But PC is the obvious evolution choice for me, especially since like I use my computer for everything, including art and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
No brainer.
So mine's very similar to exploration, but it's a lifelong thing. Like, so what we bought our first, I like my physical first PC I personally own. I bought it, what was it, 2020, 2019? And it's done magic. Like, it was $1,000 PC, nothing special, from Best Buy, and it's worked great for us. But like growing up, grandma and Robin had a computer, and we would play. Like, we played Diablo, and we would take turns. You don't know Jack, and took turns. Games on a computer. Oh fuck, I can't even think of the name. The baseball in like a little park where with like,
backyard,
yeah,
Oh,
backyard baseball, backyard football.
Pablo.
Oh, loved them.
Yeah.
Great games.
And
But
the
my
kid in the wheelchair.
first PC game came from school. I don't know if you guys remember seeing them or if you've seen them around, but Max used to make colored PCs. So they were clear at the front, and then there would be a different color in the back. Those came with 2 games. One, you were like a bug, so it was kind of like a Bug's Life. It just in my memory, it was fantastic. Like, it looked great, it played great. It was like 3D graphics. It was amazing. And then the other one was this like racing game. You're running from the cops on a single bridge, and you had to like jump over and whatnot. And we would race in our math class in middle school, so my 7th grade, to finish our day's projects to go be the first one on the computer, because whoever got on wasn't getting off. And so like we would race, and whoever got done would go get on the computer and play these games for an entire period.
I
And
remember that too,
and it was great. Like, that got me. I was like, PC computer games are fun. Like, I couldn't afford a PC, but it was fun. And then even in dial up, like, there's Newground, and like you guys say, Toontown, and was a superhero game, not DC's one, but the one before it, City Hero. Yeah, like
Classic.
played like our dad would like bought his own PC when we were younger, when we were like 12, 13. So Alec was like 6, and the only way we could play those games were if our characters weren't past his. So our level couldn't be past his level. And so to play as much as we wanted, we would have to play his character to get it leveled up so we could keep playing our own character. So he kind of like used us to get high level characters in these games, so we could, because he knew that's the only way we would be able to play.
Right.
But yeah,
which made me not want to play because I already been through that shit.
But
I had a few friends like that, but admittedly, none of my parents like video games at all. Which is funny because my uncle always talks about my dad would be in the arcades playing Dig Dug.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, yeah, all day, and it's just like, But
arcades are
he'd
so
be like,
fun
oh
too.
well, we had to bike there, so it's different. I'm like, all right, whatever.
And that's the thing another this generation is like there's still arcades, places that you can go, but like not like it was when I was growing up. Like going to the arcade to like play like Prime Chuck E. Cheese, Prime just arcade at the mall. So much fun, like hanging out with people. It's kind of like what you see in Stranger Things. Obviously, 2 of the people in here for sure haven't seen it. I don't know if Jacob's watched Stranger Things, but like they have an arcade like scene in one of the seasons, and that's how it was in real life. Like people went there to hang out and get to know people. We went there to pick up girls while playing video games. Like it was a blast. I loved it. But now for the climax of the episode.
Huh?
So you wake up and your knowledge of video games are gone. You don't remember playing, like, you know video games are a thing, but you don't remember ever playing any video games. So with this, knowing this, what one video game would you want to replay the most as if it was the first time ever playing it?
I have mine.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
know what mine is. No, I don't want to go.
I'll go. It's fine. All right, man. So I was really torn on this one because like it was between like any of the Dark Soul games. 'Cause I
Mhm.
absolutely love that series. Or the one that I'm gonna go with was The Walking Dead season 1.
God damn it.
Because like I figured I played Dark Souls with homies for the first time, and I think that made it extra special. You know what I'm saying? So if I had to play it by myself, I don't know if I like didn't know about it, if I'd like it, right? As much.
Mhm.
Like trying to relearn by myself. I just don't think it would be that fun for me. But The Walking Dead, I feel like is a game that you can go into not knowing anything about The Walking Dead and just enjoy the narrative and everything. Like it's such a fantastic game, man. It's so nice. It's clean. The graphics look good. You get attached to characters. It's just a fantastic game overall.
Agree.
Fair.
Xavier?
Fair enough. It's the
Uh,
Telltale narrative-driven ones.
So
For
good.
sure.
yeah, mine honestly. Fuck. Because it's hard. I think it would be
he says.
yeah, I don't know. I was just kidding. I know what it is. I think it'd be Final Fantasy.
Well,
The
The reason
first
why I
one?
think no, 14 online
Oh, okay.
Really?
Okay.
specifically. Yeah, just because of its current time and with my current knowledge of video games, I think that that's one game that if I didn't play the game when it originally released extremely hard and burn myself out on it, I think it's a game that I would still be playing now. Or the longest I've ever played any game would be that game, just because it kind of has almost every MMO aspect that's enjoyable in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think that's the game that I would play for a long time because I like MMOs a lot.
Fair
No,
enough.
that's fair.
Mm.
Jacob?
I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I really love Morrowind. The sense of like that strange alien world where you're like, this is something completely different. Like there are, obviously like fantasy tropes and that kind of stuff, but like I just
Mhm.
remember all my fond memories of a kid of like just exploring that landscape, spending hours and hours and hours, not even doing the main question at that. But then I was like, it's kind of old, and I don't think with the knowledge of like having played crappy old MMOs, that I'd want to
Right.
play it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if I'd like to play, if I didn't play any video games, the one I'm going to suggest, which is like Xenoblade Chronicles X,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't like it as much compared to the other Xenoblades. It's a bit less story oriented, but I just remember playing that on release. The whole sense of like exploring this alien world, finding things out, writing like guides for it, trying to figure out where every single like secret thing was in that game. It's such
Mm-hmm.
an amazing sense of like exploration and wonder that you just couldn't beat, honestly. And it's just like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's so much fun just exploring a world that someone like handcrafted, that someone put all their time into, and just
Mm-hmm.
like seeing it just feel so alive. And yeah, definitely be that.
Yeah,
Good
understandable.
pick. Good pick.
This is
Yeah.
hard. Like, I was going to probably say The Walking Dead season 1, just the episodic nature of it, waiting for the next one to come out, was it's like waiting for your favorite show every week. Like, it was great. Go ahead.
To add something to that, me and Randy actually, he was in college and I was in high school when it came out, and Randy didn't visit often, and I waited to
Mhm.
play it. Like when a new episode got out, I bought the season pass to get every episode, and I waited to play it because he
Oh, yeah.
came around when the first episode came out, and I had him played after I did. And he's like, "Yo, this is dope," and I'm like, "Ain't it?" And I waited, and that was like one thing that like we shared in the high school, and we didn't talk much.
Again,
So
another
I would
video
try
game to
to
bring people together.
come home as much as possible. Just like it would come out, and I would try to get back there within like a week or two.
mm-hmm. I actually didn't play the last episode. I had Randy play it, and we experienced it together.
Oh God, so good. So, like literally, a whole podcast on Telltale games could be done because they're all so good. Wolf Among Us, all of them, so good. The Batman, all of them. But so I was thinking, if not that one, like I could go with the Halo games. Like, and then that's where it comes. Like I feel like certain games you have to play them all, so it would have to be like all the Halo games. All of the Call of Duty games story modes, like those were great stories in themselves.
Yeah.
But if I could play it for the first time and I know like and it's not gonna freeze on me and not let me beat it because I haven't beat the game yet in like actual my life, it would be Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh man.
I would play. I would be happy. Like I'm gonna play it again on stream. I would be happy to play it over and over again. But like I said, haven't beat it because my first time playing through, I'm playing and I get to right before the final boss. You had to go through a room, and I saved it. Like, because before you're gonna fight a boss, you save it in case you die. You don't want to go fight back. I saved it, and I didn't know when I saved it that I had no heals, and I couldn't leave the room to go back, and so I had to go try to fight this boss with like 100 health.
Perfect run.
And yeah, I'm not that talented to do that, and so I never beat the game. Like I know how the story ends because I just like I think Alek, someone else beat it, and I watched the ending of it, and I beat Kodar too, but like I still haven't beat the first one, just because it got there and it got stuck, or like I've tried to play through again and I get to a point where there's like glitches in the game that get you stuck, and I'm just like, okay, yep, now I'm gonna move on. But yeah, I would totally play Cold Hard 1 again without knowing the plot twist and everything. Oh, it'd be so fun to play again without knowing anything.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Funny thing about Cordar, the first time I played it, I also got stuck in the Rancor pit, and that was very unfortunate because I did not have the means to get out of it. So I had to start over.
So I think I started over on a second run there. Like I got there after like getting past it. Luckily on the first run, I got stuck there a second run and then never tried again.
That game's so easy to get fucked in.
Do you guys think that you would have as much interest in it though, having like your current knowledge, like it being the current time, and then going back?
Yeah, I still love Star Wars. I would play just because, like,
well, yeah, that makes sense.
At some point, I still had to play Fallen Jedi, but yeah, like being able to choose your own story is one thing that drives me in. Being to choose what type of Jedi you are, like that's super dope. That's great story. Like just give me it. Here's my money, type thing. So yeah, I definitely would like knowing games now, and even with more Star Wars lore that's out. Yeah, I would love it. Hoping that there's tie-ins to some of the stuff that we know now about the Star Wars universe.
Be real disappointing when you realize it's
not. Yeah,
I hope there's tie-ins. There's just nothing.
But yeah, no.
Somehow Darth Vader teleported back in time this time.
We've been going for about 25 minutes, which is a good time for the podcast. I want to ask one final question. Just first thing that comes to your mind.
Cool.
Best game ever made.
Among Us.
You want my honest answer?
Yeah. And that doesn't. You don't have to like the game.
The battle royale for Fortnite.
Yeah, it changed. It changed the course of video games forever. Mine is GTA 5. Like, also, I love it, and its longevity is insane for a game that doesn't update anything other than adding like money purchases. But it's still
to keep people.
Still great. Still great.
I gotta say, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. It's just handcrafted world, amazing design choices, intriguing dialogue, a lot of like Hindu and Buddhism, blended ideas for it. Very cool.
I choose not to answer because I don't have one. Like you said, first thing that come to mind, and everything came to mind. Shit, dude. I'm gonna say Mario 64. I feel like that changed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That changed
Yeah,
gaming
it
in
did.
general. So
It did.
Honorable mentions: Halo, Final Fantasy,
Call of Duty.
Kingdom Hearts.
I would say any game that like changed their genre in any or created a genre
Mm-hmm.
in any way, shape, or form, I think deserves that to be
Half-Life
an answer.
Yeah.
Half-Life, yeah.
on Steam.
Left 4 Dead too, honestly.
Mm-hmm. So many good
Yeah.
games out there, dude. Video
There's so
games
many.
are unlimited. Like if you people who are like, I can't like right now we're in a law of I can't find a video game I want to play. But it's
Mhm.
not because there aren't options.
Too many
Like,
options.
yeah, there's too many options, and I want a specific thing, and it's just not out there for me yet. Like when Harry Potter comes out, Harry Potter Legacy, I'm gonna play the shit out of that for a long time. And GTA
It's
6,
unfortunately
obviously, but
one of the side effects of being spoiled and the
Mhm.
market being so saturated because of such a high interest.
Yep.
But that can be a talk for another day.
Yeah, oh
For
yeah,
sure.
so many different video game topics. And that's what the season's about. Like we're gonna talk about anything and everything, pieces, holes, who knows. But that's
Hey, thanks for showing up, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Just
Crab
be
man.
sure to hit my agent with that $100 appearance fee. Thanks,
Oh
man.
yeah, no problem, man. It'll be in there
Xavier,
when
that's your
crypto
part,
bounces
by
back.
the way. So you handle that, right, homie?
I know where he works. Don't worry.
Yeah, Alex, so it's about that time, man. Hit the people with what they want.
Dude. Shout out to the people whose favorite games is The Sims, but it's only your favorite because you love torturing them. You little psychopath, you.
That's why you have like RimWorld and other games now.
Yeah. Little sandbox.
As always, you guys can find us on Hypothetically Sound on all social media sites. This specific podcast is hspnerdshit.podbean.com. Our other one is hypotheticallysound.podbean.com. So thank you guys. We appreciate everything. Make sure to go to YouTube to see video games, to see real you laugh, you lose, to see challenge videos, the whole nine. We appreciate you guys. And until next time, have a great
next
day.
time.
Peace.
Au
Bye.
revoir, Shoshana.
Yeah, you're a nerd.
You're doing too much.
See, I told you he's a nerd. Whatever you say.